Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chalavet Movies. My name is John and this film is going to be about what movies I have bought in the month of April 2021. Now the best thing about April in the UK is that you can go back in the shops and you can buy stuff from HMV, CEX and you can get, you've got a better choice. Plus you can see the stuff physically, you can pick it up, have a look at it, see if it's something that you would like to buy, something if you think, well, it looks great online but in the flesh it's not that great, or vice versa. Okay, so first of all I picked up Humanoids from the Deep. Now this film is from 1980. This for me is the best version of this film. It's got a lovely slipcover. It's got reversible art as well, which I love. The fact of you just getting all this this great stuff that you remember from previous releases. And it's got a brand new 4K remaster. It's got some great extras. I think it's got all the extras from the American release. And it's got a better picture quality. I've watched the film and I love the film. This obviously is the full uncut version, which I haven't seen for quite a while actually, and I was so pleased to get it, and I just love this slipcover as well. And I think 88 films are really raising their game at this time. I think they are surpassing a lot of other companies and leaving them in the dust, and I'm so pleased that 88 films are out there and 88 films are succeeding and bringing us some more classics that you wouldn't normally think of getting released in the UK. Brilliant. So next up I picked up Southport from Poundland. It's not a film that I really know too much about. I do know that it's a boxing film obviously, but I think it's more to do with the fact of the sort of thing behind somebody who gets a brain injury in boxing, which happens quite too often unfortunately, and I'm a big fan of boxing in general. And I do like my boxing video films, and it's great to see one that deals with some of the other issues, and it's not really, it's like everyone likes Rocky films obviously, but this one's the one that takes the thing of the other side of the coin. Next I got this, probably just because of the slipcover, because it's got lenticular slipcover. That was why I was drawn to it. It was only £2 from Poundland, so I thought, well, why not? Me and my wife are going to watch this, but I do like Liam Neeson. I think he's quite a good actor. I do think sometimes he might be a little bit typecast at the moment, if I'm honest. I don't really go in for these films that much, but I've heard that this film's quite decent, so I thought, well, why not? £2 lenticular slipcover, why not? Next up, and I think this is another one for the slipcover, is from Poundland, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the remake. I'm not too sure what year this is from, but it's got a lovely slipcover. I don't know anything about the film obviously, other than it's about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know if I've got that much knowledge of them in the past. I have watched the TV show, I have seen the films before, but just way back when they came out. But I thought, well, why not? £2, it's a decent slipcover. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but if you do like it, then you picked up something that's I always find that if you see these things in Poundland and you think, well, what if, you'll go and buy it, because you never know, these things in the future might become ones that you can't get, and if you want to go back and get these and then pay a lot of money when you've seen it for £2 in Poundland, you feel a bit aggrieved about it. The next one is a film that I'm actually watching at the moment, The Festival. Now I put this on and to be honest I thought it was rubbish. And I didn't like it at all, and I thought this is going to be one that one of the rare films that I'm going to have to turn off, but I stuck with it. I'm sort of halfway through it. I watched it at the end of last night. I'm going to watch it again today, finish it off today. And to be honest, it picked up when they went to the festival, and I do think it would be better if it was a pure in-betweeners movie, but that being said, I am enjoying it actually at the moment, and I think it's turned into quite a decent film. I'm enjoying it where I thought I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I'm starting to laugh at some of the bits in it as well, because I didn't laugh at any of the humour at the start. I thought, if this is where it's going, I'm not even laughing, so what am I doing? But I am starting to grow into this film, and it's shaping up to be quite a decent watch. Not the best of watches, and like I say, it's not as a pale comparison to the In-Betweeners, but it's got its merits. That's what I'll say about that one. So the next one was a 4K I've been after for quite a while, and I saw it in the 2 for £30 sale in HMV, and I thought, why not? To complete the collection, It Chapter 2. Now I previously got It Chapter 1 from Keith from Euphoria Pictures, linked down below on my my unsubscriber mail, and I was blown away by the picture quality, and also the slipcover on it as well was lovely. So I thought I've got to get the second one on the slipcover. Obviously I've got the one that's got that, it's got a it's a limited edition 2-disc Blu-ray. There's a 1-disc Blu-ray, so I thought, well, I'll get the best one I can, and I've got the whole lot in the best way I can get them. I don't think I would want to get them in a box set or anything like that. I'm quite happy with the 2 standalone releases. I've checked a bit of this out because I'm going to do them back to back. Well, not back to back, but together. And the picture quality here is absolutely stunning as well. So if you want to know what these 2 are like on 4K, the It films, the brand new, the more modern It films, they're absolutely brilliant and well worth picking up if you're a fan of the best picture quality of anything. This film isn't the best one. The first one is by far better, but this one is still pretty decent. I just think it's a little bit overlong. I think they could have trimmed half an hour out of it and it would have made it a much better film. The next film is a film that I'm really interested to watch. I picked up Tenant in the sale with this one. Now, the more I'm not looking into anything about I'm not looking into the story of it. I'm just looking into the sort of technical aspects of this film. I saw something on the news the other day that was talking about how they filmed scenes backwards but made them shoot them forwards to make them look odd, and I'm quite fascinated about the whole process in this. So I'm going to probably watch another video, which is absolutely brilliant video if you want to know a little bit more about this, and it was on my good friend the Movie Collector's channel. I'll leave a link to this video down below, and he sort of explains a little bit more about the actual process of what this film is a little bit about. And to me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show my wife that video, and then before we watch this, we've got a little bit of a heads up going into it, and we're not scratching our head all the way through it. I'm kind of getting slowly what this film's all about, but John's review of it, which, like I say, I'm going to link down below, really I urge, if anybody's thinking about this film, watch that review. The explanation that he gives of you, without giving any spoilers away, sets you up to think, maybe I've got half an idea what it's all about. So that's Tenant. I have checked it out though, just a little bit, a few clips, and the quality and it looks absolutely stunning, as you would imagine for most Christopher Nolan films. I think he's a bit of a technical wizard in what he does. Maybe not. Everyone's not a fan of his stuff because it's a lot of time shifting in it, and it's a bit ultra confusing, but I think from a technical point of view he does make the most visually jaw-dropping films. The next one I got was also in a sale, a Criterion sale, and it was a film that a lot of people had mentioned this film as saying it's one of the best films that they've got in the Criterion collection, and it is Diabolique. Now this film's from 1955, it's spine number 35, and I haven't watched it yet. I've checked all these out to see what the picture quality like, and it looks absolutely stunning. Obviously it's black and white, and it's a 1:33:1 frame, which is a square, which I don't mind at all. It's obviously French language, but it's meant to have it's one of the ones that a lot of people say it's one of the best films you'll see with a lot of twists and turns, which is what I'm all about. I just love films like that, and I think you get more out of them, especially when you're watching them. If you've either seen it once and you're watching it with somebody who hasn't seen it, you know what's coming and they don't. Or as I'm going to watch this with my wife, hopefully we're both going to be sitting there and get the kind of the twists and turns at the same time, which is quite good in itself. The next one was the one that I'd been after for quite a while on Criterion, and it's Being There. It's spine number 864. This is the legendary Peter Sellers' final performance before he died of cancer, sadly, quite young as well. It's from 1979. I remember watching this in around about the early 80s and I didn't like it at all, because I was used to Peter Sellers being a slapstick humour of Inspector Clouseau and all that type of thing, and it was just, he's always in sort of like madcap like characters. But this one isn't like that, but I really am interested in watching this again with a fresh point of view, maybe to see what this is all about. I know I'm sure he got an Oscar performance for this, and on Oscar nominated, and so that's so I've checked this one out, and the picture quality here is absolutely stunning as well. As Criterions you do, they spend that bit of extra time and money on all their transfers. It does reflect the price. I don't really like paying you know, it's sort of £20-25 for a new Criterion. I find it a bit whoa, but in the Criterion sale I always find myself picking some. There's loads of there in their catalogue that I would like. Maybe I wouldn't like the whole films, all the films, but I do think that there's a good stash in there of amazing films to get. Predominantly I get my Criterion stuff in sales, I must admit, unless there's a film that I'm really desperate to get. So that's being there. Next up, I've got a film from Arrow called Edge of the Axe, and I've been after this for quite a while as well, and it's always been, and I've got this in CEX, I know it's in the Arrow sale as well, but this was only about £6, and it's always been, in CEX it's always been a crazy amount of money, which I don't understand at all. It's got a reversible art in here, which I think reversible art is actually some of the worst reversible art that I've seen, which is, it's a bit odd that you can say that, to say, because usually Arrow do pick two great covers. I'm interested to see this because I picked up the other film by this this director called Deadly Manor, which I kind of enjoyed. It wasn't brilliant, but I am wanting to watch this one. Just I love the cover on that one as well, and I just like the Edge of the Axe title as well. Sometimes you're drawn into these films just by covers and titles alone, and if they're no good, you can always put them back in the CEX or sell them on eBay, can't you? The next one was a film that I got that I watched. I heard lots of things about this film. I watched it, and when I watched it, I thought it was absolutely terrible. But since then, I thought, well, I don't know if I just didn't get it, but I'm going to go back to it and just see what I think of it this time around. And it is The Cabin in the Woods. I understand. I knew that it was going to be odd. It was going to be different. I didn't realise the whole premise behind it was so different, and I found it to be a little bit. To be honest, I found it to be a little bit annoying when I saw this the first time around. But there's a lot of these films you can go back to with fresh eyes. I don't even know if I did finish it, but I didn't. I've got no real memory about it. I do know the sort of twist in it, and so actually I've just noticed it's got Chris Helmsworth in it as well, which I never knew about. I didn't remember that at all. Didn't know who he was at the time. Obviously he wasn't really anybody at the time, and but I do think he's a great actor. Actually, I do find him funny in his comedic roles as well, playing against character. So that's Cabin in the Woods. It was only £2. If I didn't like it, it doesn't matter. This film was what probably a revelation for me when I watched it on Amazon Prime. So I knew I had to get the Blu-ray of this. I would love to get this on 4K. Actually, I don't think I'll ever get released in 4K. I don't think it'll be that much of a market for it. But it is Orphan from 2009. If nobody's seen this film, I'm not going to tell you anything about it. This girl in here is ultra creepy. She plays an absolutely brilliant part. It stars Vera Farmiga, who was great in The Bates Motel, who plays Norman Bates' mother. One of the best TV shows that's come from a sort of film. And sometimes these can, they get a TV thing. The Hannibal one was all right, but I think after series 2 it just went a bit too stupid, and I never actually finished that, though my wife did, and she liked it. But we've watched Orphan and we really enjoyed it, and I do think that a lot of people I hear good things about this, even when people mention it, and everybody says that they enjoy the fact of what this whole film can give you. So a good Monday horror, Orphan. The next one was another one from CX that I saw, and I thought it's an Arrow one. I'll pick it up. If it's no good, I can always sell it, or I might get some of these ones you can pick up with no knowledge of them, and you think, wow, that was a brilliant film, because sometimes Arrow can put these real sort of masterpieces into their catalogue, and it is Mega Time Squad. Now, I thought that this film was going to be from the 1980s. Looking at it, it looks very much an 80s film, but when I've put it on, it's actually I think it's only a few years old, and it is basically made to look like an 80s film. So I'm really excited to watch this one, if I'm honest. And again, I don't know anything about this, but the picture quality on it was actually, well, it's a brand new film, so it's really good and really crisp. So yeah, I think this is going to be a bit of an odd one, but I don't mind films like that. I like these films that reference the 80s a lot. I think you can get some good films from now that have an 80s tinge to them, because I think some of the films in the 80s that came out in the 80s were absolutely brilliant, and they're very much of the time, but I like that 80s vibe that they have. The next one was given to me by on subscriber mail by Lauren from Lauren's collection, linked down below, and it is the Criterion of In a Lonely Place. Now obviously I've heard of Humphrey Bogart, and I've obviously heard of Nicholas Ray, who directed this film, and to be honest, I didn't know too much about this particular story, and when I reflect on it, I don't think I've actually seen this one. But I tell you, I've watched this film. I'll be talking about it in what I've watched in the month of May, at the end of this month, and I've got to say this is an absolutely amazing film. It looks fantastic, and Humphrey Bogart's performance in here is, now I've seen a lot of Humphrey Bogart films from when I was a kid. They were always on the telly. Me mum, me dad, me grandparents always had it on. Always had his films on. If they come on, they would obviously put them all on. So I did see quite a lot of them, but I'm interested now in going back to some of his films, because when I watched this, I did get the vibe of how good an actor he was, and this performance in here is great. There's a lot to talk about on this film. It's got a lot of layers to it, and it is so pleased to have this. I have walked past this a few times in HMV, and if it was in the Criterion sale, I might have picked it up with another title, but I'm so glad to get this one. This is spine number 810. Highly recommended. Great performance and great disc as well. So thanks once again, Lauren. So next I was sent on subscriber mail by my good friend Leon from Leon Talks Film, linked down below. He sent me the 88 Films version of Jackie Chan's masterpiece, The Young Master. Now this set is incredible. I've had a brief flick through it, and I've compared it to the old, I'm going to say, I can't remember the label, Hong Kong Legends DVD of The Young Master, and there is no comparison at all. And hopefully they will put out the classics in Jackie Chan's filmography, because he's got plenty of them. I know he's made some films I don't really sort of go near, which is more as like later films, but these ones from like the 70s through the 80s and maybe early 90s are absolute masterpieces for me. So thank you once again, Leon. What an excellent thing to receive on subscriber mail. So speaking of subscriber mail, I received this month from my good friend Tom Pierce 1960 on Instagram. I'll leave a link down below to that channel. I urge you to get across and see his artwork. This is why I'm wearing the Misfits regalia. This is hand signed by Jerry Only there, and it was done in pen, and some neighbour has embroidered that over the top so it'll never come off. And there is Jerry Only himself, and he drew me this picture and he sent it to me, and I was blown away by it. If you haven't seen that the video of that, I was blown away by it when I received this, and I just wanted to show this again and say thanks once again to Tom for sending me this. It's an absolute amazing picture, and I can't wait to put this on the wall. And also Tom sent me that one of Jerry Only, and of course who else did he send? He sent me this one of Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein, and that one again is just absolutely amazing. The detail in it is just stunning, and these ones are going to get framed and put in my studio, and along with my other art that I've received on subscriber mail, and I can't wait to do a video when I show them off. And these things will feature highly on my the John Perry Show channel, which is going to be highly influenced by bands I've seen, all that type of thing, music and all this thing. So speaking of the Misfits, here's a picture of me wearing this hat with Jerry and Doyle from 1999, and this was taken outside the Foundry in Birmingham when me and my friend went down to see the Misfits play there. And I got lots of stuff signed from them, but I had my t-shirt signed off Jerry a couple of years before, and that picture's probably done the rounds on social media, but that's all going to be dealt with in the John Perry Show channel. But once again, thanks Tom, I really appreciate you doing that for me, and everyone who's seen those pictures are a bit blown away, including my wife, so thanks once again. Okay, so next I picked up the 4K of Spartacus. I'd been after this for quite a while. I did have it on Blu-ray, but I wanted to upgrade it. I want to get every Kubrick film that comes out in 4K. I'm hoping the vast majority of his movies are going to come out in 4K. I'm really hoping for Barry Lyndon to come out. that would be amazing to get that one on there. It looks great on Blu-ray. I don't know, I dread to think what their 4K would look like. The Spartacus 4K looks really good as well. I knew it would do because it's filmed in that lavish sort of Technicolor, and it's very vibrant and all that. So pleased to get this one, and also I'm pleased to get the slipcover because I do collect my 4Ks, especially with slipcovers, because you know they usually come out 90% of the time with a slipcover on. Sometimes they don't, which is a bit of a travesty really, because you do pay initially, especially on a first release, you do pay a lot of money for 4Ks. I think the least they could do was slap a cardboard cover around it, you know, just to make it a bit worthwhile, just for your shelves. It's just nice for the conformity of the shelves, which is a thing of mine. But Spartacus, very pleased to get that. And in that deal, 2 for £30, I got this film that I've been after for quite a while, Annihilation, and I've heard good things about it actually. I've never seen it. I put it on obviously to check it out, and the picture quality looks really nice. So I try to buy my 4Ks. Usually it's in sale at HMV. That's my favourite bit to get them. I can get them on the shelves and have a look at them, get the best slipcover I can. Make sure they have got a slipcover. I hate it when you send away for some brand new 4Ks and don't come with a slipcover, like my 1917 did, and I had to go mooching for one of them, which was horrible trying to get one, but I did get one. So yeah, so I'm interested in watching this one. Don't know anything about it really, but I do know it looks very good, and a lot of people talk very highly about it. So the next one is a movie that me and my wife love. We've been to Pictures to see this when it was released, and I'm a big fan of this director, and it is 1993's Manhattan Murder Mystery. The film itself has got usually Woody Allen films do have a really good story in it. He does tell he's got a very interesting 90-minute film that will have a really good story with a few twists in it. This one does have quite a few twists in it as well, and it's a really one of his better later films, because some of his later films in the 90s were a little bit hit and miss. And I do watch some of his newer films. I think I haven't watched the last maybe 4 or 5 films he's put out. Usually I like to watch a film with Woody Allen in it. Sometimes he doesn't make films with him himself. He doesn't really do that anymore. He's getting on a bit now. He's 80 odd, and he probably doesn't want to act anymore. Just wants to direct. He does put one film out every year. He's done that ever since he came on the scene in the late 60s. So he's very prolific. But yeah, so we're really happy to get that. So this film on Blu-ray was brought to my attention by Kermit's Ghost. Alan from Kermit's Ghost put one of his videos and told that he got this, and I thought, where you got this from? Because he doesn't really get many of his stuff released on Blu-ray in the UK, and he said it was in HMV, so I immediately went and got it. So thanks once again, Alan. Link down below. So the next one is a film that I got, which I've been after for quite a while. Never saw millions of the original, the first one, but never any of the sequel, and it's Ted 2. So my wife picked this up for me in HMV, and it was only $2.99. Everyone sees this in Poundland, but I never seem to get it myself. I tripping over Ted in Poundland, but never Ted 2. So I'm pleased to get that one. I know it's not as good as the original one, but I do like these films. I think they're just a bit of harmless fun. The next one was I got just for the slipcover. Actually, I have got this film already, but I wanted to upgrade the slipcover. It's not in the best condition, but it'll do us till I can see a really good version of it. And it is Troll Hunter. It's got this lenticular slipcover. It's very deep as well. The film itself is a brilliant film. I personally think it's a very underrated film that not many people know or talk about. Once you've seen it, you'll understand how good this is. But the slipcover on here is really, really, really nice. I'm so pleased to get it. It's only $1.50. Yeah, it's a little bit tattered and torn, but it'll do until I get another one. Absolutely brilliant. So the last film I got was Morte della Mori, and this one is a bit of an oddity actually, because it's a low budget Italian film. It's a very gory splatter sort of cemetery ghost romp with zombies kind of. I haven't watched it for a long time. It stars Rupert Everett, who is a star who usually does drama films, so it seems weird that he's in this exploitational Italian film. I know it's uncut, it's numbered, limited edition, all that. It's one that I've been after. I must admit, when I put it on, I did know that there was you can tell the frames per second just didn't look right. It's a bit shaky, and I know that somebody's put a comment on one of my previous videos to say that they couldn't watch this, but there's a much better version out elsewhere in the world. So I'm going to give it a shot. If it doesn't work for me, or it gets on my nerves too much, I would have to pass it up and go for the other one if I like it that much. If it's a decent film that kind of is all right where it is, I'll just keep it as it is. But unfortunately, shameless releasing, are a little bit hit and miss with their transfers and their films in general. So that's why I don't think they progressed it. And I think they could have been, with the stuff that they've released, I do think they could have been up there with the likes of 101, 88 films, but I think they just haven't had the good quality control that they had. And I think a lot of people have lost their confidence in their releases, including myself. If they'd been stellar, and I know they've tried to release some really controversial films, but they've had to cut them. To me, if I was going to release Cannibal Holocaust in UK and they said you're going to have to cut it, mind, I would have just said, well, fair enough, I'll go and do something else. I would always want to release a film that was uncut, and it is what it is. But I do think that, unfortunately, this is a bit of a lackluster release, although I haven't watched it properly. I mean, it's a nice looking print, it just doesn't move right for me. But I'm going to give it a watch and see what happens with that. I don't know when I'll get around to watch it. Okay, so that's what I bought in the month of April, and had a really good time going to the shops. In fact, I've missed going to the shops. You don't realise how much you miss something until you can't do it. So I was so glad to get back to the shops, and I look forward to spending a lot more time and a lot more money, don't tell me wife, going back to the shops. So thanks once again for watching. You take care, and I'll see you on the next video.